Hello everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel, NIW Approved, a channel where we provide you educational information for your immigration transformation. Today, we are going to be talking about an exciting case, a case that was approved within 220 days. We went from no green card to a green card. It's going to be a wonderful time today. I look forward to taking all your questions. Welcome.
Welcome to NIW Approved, your ultimate guide to navigating the National Interest Waiver Green Card process with confidence. Hi, I'm Gertrude Onuoha, ESQ, an immigration attorney with years of experience helping professionals like you achieve their dreams through the NIW Green Card process. Whether you're an engineer, scientist, artist, or entrepreneur, you're in the right place. Here on NIW Approved, we provide expert tips for building a strong case, real-life success stories, answers to your most pressing questions, and actionable strategies to navigate your NIW journey with ease. Ready to take the next step in your immigration journey? Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join our growing community of professionals turning their expertise into approval. Don't just dream it, get it approved. Subscribe now, and let's make your NIW success story the next one.
Welcome once again to everyone. This is Gertrude Onuoha, an immigration attorney licensed in the state of New York. Today, I'll be discussing a real-life approved case, and we are going to look at some tips that can really help you navigate the NIW green card process. If you have friends that need to be here, call them. We're going to be answering questions after I discuss this case, and I will try my best to answer all your questions. Remember, we service clients all over the 50 states and outside the United States. If you have any questions today, I'll be happy to answer your questions, but please remember that this is only for educational purposes. If you need us to look into your specific case to give you the real legal advice, then you have to schedule a consultation. I am so excited this day, and I will delve into this case and really discuss one or two things that will really help you as we look through the case. So I'm going to share my slide right now. And okay, so I'm discussing an EB-1A green card that was approved in 220 days, guys. That is 7 months and 8 days. This is amazing, going from no green card to a green card within less than a year, within about 7 months. That's just fantastic. That's amazing. And I'm going to tell you the secret on how we won this case. Okay, I'll go to my next slide. So before I do that, again, I want to put out this disclaimer that prior success does not guarantee future results. That's number one. Two, this presentation is only for educational purposes. And three, each case is unique, okay? In the world of immigration, in the world of NIW, EB-1, EB-2, please note that every case is unique, regardless of the fact that you might be even in the same profession, the same specialty. No two cases are different. And that's why we always do consultations, because people's background, educational experience, work experience are completely different. Okay, so this is just to help the community, and you don't need to copy and paste this particular case into your own application. All right, go ahead. So I'm going to start by discussing the proposed endeavor. So my client is a material engineer, and he's also a researcher, and he has a PhD in metallurgical and material engineering. And the focus of his case is developing lightweight, durable, corrosion-resistant materials for applications in the automotive industry, aerospace, and military industry. So think about the aeroplane that flies out there, right? Those aeroplanes, they fly at a very high altitude where the temperature is really, really different from what it is on ground. And the airplane is made of materials. So there are engineers that make these materials, okay? And the goal of my clients, he's in that field. They make these materials are very durable, so that even when the aeroplane is flying so high, that aeroplane can still maintain the pressure and the materials are sustainable. Okay, there are different components of these materials, and I'm not the expert here. My client is the expert, but hey, this is what he does. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. Now, we presented, of course, we did a consultation. So this client met me doing a presentation, and he attended my presentation. After my presentation, he contacted me about his credentials, and then we sat down in a paid consultation and we looked at his credentials. After looking at his credentials, I came to the conclusion that he qualifies for the EB-1A extraordinary ability. Understand that one of the biggest things we do during the consultation is to look at the evidence. It's a think of it as somebody who is going on a journey. You're going on a journey, right? You want to make sure that you have what it takes. And I'll be sharing maybe at another time the video with this client actually, where he even said he didn't know anything about this, right? So he came for this meeting, he heard me, and then, he consulted with me. We looked at his evidence, we looked at his credentials. That's what we do during the consultation, to make sure that people have what it takes for this journey. And after looking at his credentials, we did the strength, we looked at the weak limb, and we came to the conclusion that yes, we should definitely do this for him, and we decided to do it. Now, I'm going to discuss some of the things we discussed during the case. Let's move to the next slide. So we discuss authorship of scholarly articles. My client has so many articles, research papers. I think we presented, I think, about 42 research papers and over 500 Google citations. Let's move to the next slide. And then we were also able to show that he reviewed several high impact journals. Okay. So many of these journals were reviewed. And then we were also able to show that he got the invitations, he received invitations to review these journals, and then also that he actually reviewed the journals. See, guys, where a lot of people make a mistake is that they just say, "Oh, I reviewed a journal." No, it's not enough to say you reviewed a journal. Okay, it's not enough to say you actually judged the work of somebody, or that you were in a committee or in a panel where you judge somebody's work, right? You have to prove by evidence that you actually did the work. You understand? It's not enough to say it. So the invitation is one thing, where somebody writes you an email and says, "Hey, Mr. John, I need you to come over to join us in reviewing this journal." So that's one leg of the evidence. But the most important leg of the evidence is to show that you actually did it. Because one thing is to be invited, the other thing is to show that you actually did it. And for this client, one way we were able to show that he actually did it was through a certificate that was given to him at the end of the process, a thank you letter, a thank you email, something showing that, "Hey, Mr. John, we thank you so much for reviewing this research paper. We really appreciate your contribution," and all that. So we were able to show that he was invited to review. We showed that he actually reviewed, and we showed that he was appreciated or recognized for the review. And the USCIS agreed with us on that. Let's move to the next slide. Another thing that we showed was leading or critical role in organizations. So, for example, he was a chairman of a departmental committee, He was a member of a departmental accreditation subcommittee, and then he was also a principal investigator on major research projects. Now, if you look closely at this, you would see different levels of leadership. Okay, so like him being a chairman of a departmental committee, that's right there, leadership role. So understand that under the law, you can argue leading, or the language of the regulation says that or. So you can argue one or the other, or you can even argue both. Okay. So in this case, the word chairman in and of itself shows clearly that it's a leadership role, but that's not enough. You have to go beyond just the letter that shows that, hey, Mr. John, we want you to come be the chairman of this committee. And guess what? We're able to show that beyond just being getting a letter, there were other things, there were other evidence showing that he actually did the work. And if you look again, you see that he was also a member of a committee. Now, as a member, you may not be holding a leadership role, but it could be a critical role. So it's either critical or leading. So now when we talk about critical role, what are we talking about in that organization? You want to show that if this person performed to the point that he was able to, you know, accomplish the goal of the organization. You want to show that there was a performance. Okay, it's that performance that makes it critical. And then you also want to show what was the impact of this critical role, such that if this individual would have failed, then it would impact a lot of things, either resulting in huge loss of money, or some kind of penalization, or just something to prove that the role was critical. Okay, so that's very, very important. And then I would even argue that being a principal investigator is a very critical role. It's a leadership role as well as a critical role. So once you show leadership or critical role, that's not enough. You still have to now show that the organization is a distinguished organization. You have to show that this organization is a distinguished organization. And there are many ways of showing an organization is distinguished. You have to look at the accomplishment of that organization. How long has this organization been in existence, right? You want to look at breadth. You want to look at the geographical location of this organization. How many people have they serviced? So, for example, if the organization is a state government where they hire maybe like thousands and thousands of employees, that's a distinguished organization, in my opinion. If the organization is like a global organization, say for example World Bank, UNICEF, World Health Organization, that's distinguished. If the organization is an institution, it's also distinguished. Look at the endowment that institution is getting. Look at the number of graduates they are turning out, right? You have to do some kind of research on the distinguishedness of the organization. That's a big research that has to be done. Now, if you argue leading or critical role, but fail to show that the critical role was carried out in a distinguished organization, then you're not likely to win on that point. One thing I want to say as well is that you want to make sure that the critical role was done in that organization, because we deal with a lot of clients, and clients do a lot of things over the course of their career. So you may find a client, or Mr. John, let's give an example, carrying out a particular work in organization A, but that work is not that critical. Now, Mr. John wants to show that the work he did so organization A might be a distinguished organization, but the work done with organization A, not critical or leadership. Now, John wants to show that I carried out a critical role in an organization that's not so distinguished. In other words, you cannot cross over. What I'm trying to say, let me explain myself, is that the critical role must have been done for the distinguished organization. So much so that if the organization that you're talking of is not distinguished, then you're not matching it. Everything must happen together. leadership, critical role in this distinguished organization. So, like in this particular case, we're able to show three different roles, and yeah, we nailed it. All right, let's move to the next slide. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put them on this issue or any issue that pertains to immigration. I'm happy to answer. Um, the next thing we showed was original scientific contributions. So you want to definitely show that this guy has some kind of research, and then you want to show that the contribution is significant. Okay. And in this instant case, one way we showed it was through Google citation. People were citing his work. The fact that people are using your work shows that it's significant. You also want to show wide readership. Okay. And then, of course, if you have experts who can speak to your work, who can show that your work is really significant or has benefited them, that is fantastic. So that's the way you show original scientific contribution. And we used it and it worked for our client. Let's move to the next slide. Of course, we also showed that he received lesser national or internationally recognized awards. Guys, there's something I want to say about awards. Um, if you're able to show a one-time strong award like a Nobel Prize or Oscar, that is amazing. But the reality is that most people don't have those kind of things. Okay, so one thing you should not do is when it comes to showing all these things. So under the law, you need to show like 3 out of 7, and you should be fine. One thing you don't want to ever do is to begin to argue something you don't qualify for. Number one, you're wasting your time. Number two, you're wasting the time of the adjudicator, right? You're wasting their time. So pay attention to that. So in this instant case, we just went for a lesser award, because hey, even though he had 3 awards, hey, we don't have the Oscar type award, we don't have the Nobel Prize. No need to waste your time on that. They know what this one time big time award is. Most people don't have it, but if you have it, of course you should show it. But I wouldn't go and start arguing on that. I would just go for lesser awards because the regulation provides for it, which is exactly what we did here. Another interesting thing about this award for this client was that some of the awards were received as a team. Okay, so that and it doesn't really matter. Okay, you want to show why that award was given. Was it for excellence or for what? In this instant case, we were able to show that one of the awards was for excellence. They went for a presentation, research presentation, and I think they were at the top. They were won first prize. So definitely, you want to pay attention to things like this. All right, let's move on. So we're able to show all that good stuff, and then of course we showed the plan of our client to continue to work in the area of his expertise in the United States. That's what the EB-1A requires you to do. Let's move to the next slide. And then, of course, we're able to show that his area of extraordinary ability will substantially benefit the US. Of course, we discussed different things, but just one or two things that was discussed. The fact that he would advance transportation and, of course, um, address the issue of global waste. One thing that this client was doing was using agro waste, like things that are waste, food waste, right? To see how to use it in the area of making materials that are durable, efficient, and at the same time light. So he was, researching on those things. All right, thank you. Let's move on. So let's look at the timeline transformation. This is what we advocate on this channel, the transformation. So the case was received by USCIS on June 17th, 2024, and then the I-140 was approved December 2027, and then the green card came in January 23rd, 2025. That's when the notification for the green card approval was received. And then, of course, we received it thereafter. So, guys, that is the story of this client. And you can put the slide again, the next slide. If you're looking to do, no, the next one, if you're looking to do a consultation, one thing I can tell you is that there is no way we would have been able to put this case together without doing that consultation with the client. We're able to sit down, we looked at the strength. You would notice also that we did not cover all the requirements of the regulations. We only covered the area of his strength. It is the strength that we're emphasizing. The law does not expect you to throw in everything. And those of you that do this on your own, this is where a lot of people make mistakes. They throw in the kitchen sink. You understand? Just throw in everything. You can't do that. You want to really analyze your strength, okay? And put forward that strength. That is what the consultation does. It enables us to look at the strength of the case and the weakness, and then put in your strength forward. Okay, so if you are looking to do a consultation on this or any immigration matter, give us a call 212-971-9704, or go to our website go-attorney.com. Schedule a consultation. We will look at your evidence, and if we evaluate everything, if we think you qualify, we will take on your case. And even if you don't want to have a lawyer do it for you, we'll still be able to tell you your strength and your weakness, and of course your proposed endeavor. So that's all I have to say about that case. Of course, it took us quite a while. Just getting the documents together is a lot. If you want more details about this case, I'm going to be sharing my interview with this client on this channel, and you can gain more from that. Okay, so that's how we did it. Within 220 days, we're able to get our client a green card. Guys, 7 months and 8 days. 7 months and 8 days for a green card. Can I tell you, some people have been in this country 20 years, 30 years, no green card. And within about 7 months and 8 days, we were able to transform the life of our client by helping him get the green card. What are you waiting for? Give us a call and know if you qualify. In any case, I'm going to be taking comments now. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. I will be sharing my interview with this client. It's very revealing, it's very amazing, and you're going to learn a lot. And so if you have any question, I'm happy to take your questions. All right, Moses, thank you for joining in. You said, are employment offer and proof of funds required for the EB? Which of the EB now? Okay, let's just say both. I'm going to assume both. So the law does not require you to show any proof of employment. Okay. And when you say funds, I don't know what funds you are referencing. Are you referencing funds for research or what? But the law does not require you to have an offer letter. That's the benefit of the employment-based category, EB2 or even EB1. You do not need an offer of employment. You do not need to have a sponsor. Those two things are not required. And that's what makes it very attractive, because guess what? The process of trying to get an employer here to sponsor you is challenging. In fact, some employers, if they hear that you don't have green card, they don't want to deal with you anymore, because they don't want to go through that process. They don't want to go through that protocol, right? So that's one of the beauty of this process. You are a self-petitioner. You are presenting yourself. You don't need any sponsor, right? You are petitioning on your own behalf. You are your petitioner. You are the petitioner. You are the beneficiary. So that's two in one. That's the attractiveness of the EB1 or the EB2 green card pathway. Whereas if you were doing like a marriage case, you would need a sponsor, okay? And even with the some employment-based category, even this EB2, some people would have to be sponsored. But I advocate strongly for self-petitioning, because you are taking your destiny, your immigration destiny, in your own hands. You're not waiting for any employer. Guess what? The employer might change their mind. They may go down, they may go bankrupt, and they could fire you. So if any of those three things happen, you might be jeopardized. So do it yourself and move forward. Any other question? Please don't fail to like and share. Please like and share. And if you like the information you have received this afternoon, please, I would like to see your comments. If we don't have any more questions, then we're going to call it a day today. But I'm happy to take any questions. If you have any questions concerning your immigration, um, we're happy to definitely take on your questions. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We really, really appreciate you this afternoon. And if you need to contact me, feel free. My email address is going to be on the screen, and my what's it called? My website is going to be on the link there. You can definitely schedule a consultation, and you might be the next. Who knows? I don't know what you qualify for, but the only way we know what you qualify for is when you schedule that consultation. I'm so thankful to my clients. I'm so thankful to God for making it possible for us to help this guy to get that transformation. Our goal is to help you transform from no green card to a green card. Guess what? When you get a green card, your life changes. It changes everything. Believe you me, you are able to work. You're not tied to any employer. That's huge. I have people who have approached me. They are being abused by their employer, but they are tied to that employer. They don't love the job. They hate the job. They're not being treated well, but they are tied to that employer. So guess what? They have to sit down there and take it in. Whereas if you have your green card, you're not tied to any employer. You can petition for some family members like your spouse, and children 21 and under. And of course, you can get a job in different states within the United States. And then you can even advance your career. And then you're on your pathway to US citizenship. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this afternoon. In the absence of any further questions, we'll call it a day. I look forward to seeing you here next week, Saturday live. Please do not forget, subscribe and also like and then share. Thank you very much and have a wonderful rest of your day.